The Galactic Empire had ruled over countless star systems for millennia, its grip ironclad, its reach infinite. Planets surrendered without question, systems paid tribute, and all bent the knee before the towering might of the Empire. But there was one planet, new to the fold, that refused to bow: Earth. The humans had joined the galaxy reluctantly, a species deemed primitive by imperial standards, yet their resistance was far from trivial. At first, the Empire dismissed them. A backwater planet, barely scratching the surface of galactic civilization, armed with outdated technologies and a stubborn streak. But as months passed, the reports became alarming. Earth's resistance cells were striking at key installations, disrupting trade routes, sabotaging Empire-run outposts with a precision that was unnerving. For a species so inferior, they were causing far more damage than anticipated. The Emperor himself, a figure whose authority was rarely questioned, found his advisors at a loss. How, they would ask, reviewing yet another report of a successful human-led raid. The answer was always the same: no one knew. Humanity had somehow managed to stay just out of reach, their leaders operating from the shadows, their attacks swift and precise. The Empire's military might, with all its power and resources, had proven ineffective in crushing this seemingly small rebellion. In a moment of frustration, the Emperor made his decision. If an army couldn't solve the problem, then perhaps specialists could. He ordered the deployment of the most feared unit in the galaxy, the elite assassin squad. Composed of creatures from across the stars, each assassin was a master of their craft. These weren't simple killers, they were legends in their own right, each one capable of bringing entire civilizations to their knees. They had been sent to eliminate rebellion before, and they had never failed. There was Zeltor, a shadowy being from the moonless planet of Darvok, known for killing entire warlords without leaving a trace. Marek, a hulking behemoth from the frozen wastes of Ulker Prime, who could crush bones with a single strike. And Cryon, whose venomous strikes left no chance for survival, no matter the victim. Each assassin brought a different strength, a different method of death. But they all shared the same purpose: to obliterate Earth's leadership and bring an end to the rebellion. They were confident. Why wouldn't they be? No planet had ever survived the squad's attention. The Emperor himself had given the order, and they relished the challenge of a new hunt. The assassins received their instructions in silence, the targets laid out before them, key figures in Earth's resistance network. Earth had to be reminded of its place in the grand scheme of the galaxy. These humans would be hunted, cornered, and eliminated without mercy. It would be quick, brutal, and efficient, just as it always had been. But as the assassins prepared for their mission, traveling through the vastness of space toward Earth, there was one variable they hadn't considered. A variable Earth had kept hidden, even from the galaxy's all-seeing eyes. For humanity, survival was more than just technology or brute strength. It was ingenuity, adaptability, and an ancient discipline no other species had mastered. Earth was sending its own weapon into the fray. The assassins had never failed before, but they had never faced someone quite like this. Earth's leaders knew what was coming. The Galactic Empire's response was as predictable as it was deadly: elite assassins, the best killers in the galaxy, sent to snuff out humanity's resistance. They had seen the reports. There was no hiding from the Empire's reach, no defeating its overwhelming strength. Open combat wasn't an option. Earth's armies were strong, but not nearly strong enough to face an opponent with such deadly precision. In a small, dimly lit room, the decision was made. The leaders didn't speak of fleets or firepower. They didn't plan for conventional defense. Instead, they turned to something older, something hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Earth had a weapon no one else knew about, a discipline that had survived the rise and fall of empires on its own soil: ninjutsu. The ninja they selected had no name, no identity beyond his purpose. He was trained in an art that hadn't been seen outside of human history, an art of stealth, subterfuge, and death delivered silently. While the assassins from the Empire were feared for their raw power, this man relied on the shadows. He moved like a ghost, leaving no trace of his presence. He didn't need technology or advanced weaponry. His tools were centuries-old skills passed down through generations of warriors, sharpened to lethal precision. Earth's leaders had no doubts. They knew it was a gamble, a single man against the galaxy's deadliest killers. But there was no hesitation. The ninja had been prepared for this very moment. He had trained in isolation, away from the public eye, honing his craft with a singular focus, to protect Earth when the time came. Now, that time had arrived. He didn't need speeches or fanfare. He wasn't burdened by emotion or fear. The mission was clear: stop the assassins before they reached their targets. Neutralize the threat without ever being seen. His methods were unorthodox, but effective. Where the assassins would rely on brute force, overwhelming their enemies with sheer violence, the ninja would exploit their weaknesses. He would use the environment to his advantage, turning the familiar landscapes of Earth into traps the assassins wouldn't see coming. As the final briefings were given, the ninja listened in silence. He didn't ask questions or express concerns. This was what he had been waiting for. The leaders, knowing the gravity of what they were asking, trusted him completely. They didn't need a battalion. They needed one man capable of doing what no one else could, becoming invisible. Without a word, the ninja accepted the mission. There was no need for theatrics. With a final nod, he disappeared into the night, a shadow blending into the darkness, unseen and unheard. He moved swiftly, every step calculated, every breath controlled. The assassins didn't know it yet, but the hunt had already begun, only they were not the hunters. This wasn't about brute strength or high-tech warfare. This was about discipline, patience, and the human ability to adapt in the face of impossible odds. Earth had sent its most dangerous weapon, a silent, invisible warrior with a single mission: to outwit and eliminate the deadliest killers in the galaxy, one by one. The assassins landed quietly, their ship touching down on Earth's surface with the precision of a surgical blade. They moved with confidence, their senses heightened, scanning the terrain for any sign of their targets. Each one carried the finest weapons and technology, designed to eliminate prey without fail. Their confidence was unshaken: Earth was just another planet, and humans were just another species to conquer. The mission was simple: locate and kill the leaders of the resistance. They split into pairs, covering the ground with the efficiency of seasoned predators, their tracking devices humming softly as they searched for their first target. What they didn't know was that they were already being watched. From the shadows, the ninja tracked their every movement. He had been waiting for them, studying their tactics, their patterns. They were good, but predictable. Their advanced tech made them reliant on external aids, while he relied on nothing but his training and the environment. They were equipped for direct confrontation. He was prepared to make sure they never saw him coming. He waited for the right moment. Timing was everything. Two assassins moved ahead, their eyes scanning the horizon, unaware that their every step was leading them into a trap. In the silence of the forest, the ninja made his first move. One moment, the alien warrior was there, strong, lethal, alert. The next, he was gone, his throat cut with a precision that left no chance for survival. The body hit the ground before his partner even realized something was wrong. The second assassin froze, a mixture of confusion and disbelief flashing across his alien features. Their tech hadn't picked up anything. His partner was supposed to be the best in close combat, unbeatable. Now, he was lying dead, blood pooling in the dirt. The assassin scanned the area wildly, his weapon at the ready, but there was nothing. No sound. No movement. Just the oppressive silence that suddenly felt too heavy, too wrong. The team regrouped quickly, but tension was already creeping in. The dead assassin had been their most skilled melee fighter, capable of taking down entire battalions. How could a mere human take him out without even a fight? Their first instinct was to blame a malfunction, perhaps some freak accident. But deep down, they knew something was off. Their prey wasn't behaving as expected. The ninja had left no trace, not even a footprint, and now they were faced with an enemy they couldn't see. The assassins adjusted their approach. They switched tactics, moving with heightened caution, doubling their efforts to track whatever had killed their teammate. But the ninja wasn't giving them any openings. He moved silently through the trees, always just out of sight, staying ahead of their sensors, watching their every move. He wasn't hunting them out of aggression or revenge. He was simply doing his job. Another assassin fell. This time, the kill was even quicker, even more precise. The others didn't see it happen, only the aftermath. Panic began to spread through the group. 2 of their best were down, and they still had no idea who or what they were facing. The ninja continued his silent war, playing with their senses, using the terrain to stay hidden. Every time they thought they had him cornered, he disappeared. Every time they regrouped, one more of them vanished. The alien killers, once so sure of their superiority, were beginning to doubt themselves. This was no fluke. They were being systematically dismantled, and they still hadn't caught a glimpse of their attacker. The assassins, once the galaxy's most feared hunters, were now struggling to maintain their composure. 2 of their own were dead, and they still had no idea how it had happened. Their advanced tracking systems had picked up nothing, their superior senses detected no threat. The human resistance leaders they had been sent to kill were nowhere in sight. All they had was the unsettling reality that someone was hunting them, and they couldn't even see their enemy. In desperation, they began setting traps of their own. Using every resource at their disposal, they laid out motion sensors, thermal cameras, and energy field detectors. They fortified their positions, positioning themselves in strategic spots where they believed they could flush out the attacker. They communicated in sharp, rapid bursts, trying to anticipate the ninja's next move. Yet every step they took seemed useless, their efforts mocked by the deadly silence around them. The ninja watched patiently, hidden in plain sight. He had already studied their tactics, and now he was 2 steps ahead. Every trap they set was just another tool for him to exploit. He lured them into false security, moving through the shadows, disrupting their signals, and making them second-guess their every move. One of the assassins, growing reckless, moved too quickly through a narrow path, only to trigger one of his own traps, a laser snare that sliced through his armor. Before he could even call for help, the ninja was upon him, swift, silent, and final. The assassins were falling, one after another. With each death, the ninja's precision became more apparent. He wasn't merely killing them, he was dismantling their confidence, eroding their sense of control. Each kill was meticulously planned, exploiting their reliance on technology, their arrogance, and their belief in their superiority. He used their own strategies against them, turning their advanced gear into liabilities. To them, it must have seemed like they were fighting a ghost, an unseen force that could manipulate the very fabric of the battlefield. As the team dwindled, the lead assassin, a seasoned warrior who had never failed a mission, began to understand. This wasn't just a human soldier they were up against. This was a predator, one who knew their every move before they made it. The ninja had studied them, learned their patterns, and now controlled the battlefield with a finesse they had never encountered. Every step they took felt like walking into another trap, every breath weighed down by the oppressive feeling that death was just around the corner. The lead assassin, with his experience and cunning, shifted the game. He realized brute force wasn't going to work. This was a battle of wits now, and he had to think like his opponent. He began setting a different kind of trap, using his injuries as bait. Slowing his movements, he limped through the forest, deliberately exposing himself to the ninja's sightline. He hoped to lure the human into thinking he had won, into overestimating his advantage. But the ninja remained unseen, observing every detail. He could sense the desperation in the assassin's movements, the fear masked beneath calculated tactics. There was no need for haste. The lead assassin was playing his last card, trying to draw the ninja into a confrontation. The air was thick with tension, both sides knowing that the end was near, both playing the final steps of a dangerous game. The assassin believed he had set the perfect trap, one last gambit to turn the tables. Injured and desperate, he prepared for a final stand, certain that he had outwitted his elusive opponent. He crouched low, his weapon primed, waiting for the ninja to make his move. But in this game, there could only be one victor, and the ninja was already several moves ahead. The lead assassin lay in wait, every fiber of his being focused on the trap he had set. Injured but calculating, he had lured the ninja into what he believed was the perfect snare. The sensors were primed, the path was narrow, and the human would have no choice but to reveal himself. In the assassin's mind, this was it, his moment to turn the tables. He had faced countless enemies across the stars, and while this human had been a formidable opponent, all it would take was one mistake. But the ninja didn't make mistakes. As the assassin's trap snapped shut, there was no panic, no sudden flurry of desperate action from the human. Instead, the ninja was already 2 steps ahead. What the alien had perceived as a victory was nothing more than a carefully orchestrated illusion. The moment the assassin struck, he realized too late that the ninja had anticipated every move. It wasn't the human who had been caught in a trap, it was him. From the shadows, the ninja emerged, not in haste or desperation, but with the cold, deliberate precision that had marked his every strike. The final confrontation was inevitable. The lead assassin, fueled by pain and desperation, lashed out with brute force, swinging his deadly weapon with the intent to end this game once and for all. But brute force was no match for the ninja's calm, practiced skill. The alien was strong, but the ninja was faster, more agile. Every strike the assassin attempted was met with a counter that left him off balance, vulnerable. The battle was brief, but intense. The assassin, the best the Galactic Empire had to offer, threw everything he had into the fight. His strikes were powerful, capable of cleaving through steel, but the ninja danced around them effortlessly, never allowing the alien to gain the upper hand. Each movement of the ninja was calculated, precise, and devastating. He didn't waste energy. He didn't overextend. This was what he had trained for, this moment, this final battle. The alien's frustration grew with each passing second. The realization hit him, this human wasn't just skilled, he was superior. The assassin had never faced anything like this. His advanced weapons, his enhanced senses, none of it mattered against the sheer cunning and discipline of the ninja. And then, with one final, swift move, it was over. The ninja struck with a precision the alien couldn't counter, cutting through the assassin's defenses and delivering a final, lethal blow. The lead assassin collapsed to the ground, the life draining from his body as he realized he had been utterly outclassed. His last thought, before darkness claimed him, was the bitter truth: this human, this species he had thought so primitive, had outwitted and outmatched the Empire's greatest killers. In the silence that followed, the ninja stood for a moment, surveying the scene. All around him, the bodies of the Galactic Empire's most feared assassins lay still, their reign of terror ended on Earth. What had begun as a mission to crush humanity had turned into a stunning display of human ingenuity and resilience. The galaxy had sent assassins, but Earth had sent something far worse, a silent shadow of death. Without a word, the ninja faded back into the darkness, leaving no trace of his presence. There was no need for recognition or praise. His mission was complete, and the threat had been neutralized. Humanity had won, not through brute force, but through the quiet strength of its people. As the ninja disappeared, Earth remained as it always had been, defiant, underestimated, and far more dangerous than anyone in the galaxy could ever have imagined. The Galactic Empire had learned this lesson the hard way, and soon, the rest of the universe would know it too. When the galaxy sent assassins, Earth sent something worse, a silent shadow of death.